On Thursday, the European Parliament passed an advisory resolution that could scuttle development of the East African crude oil pipeline, citing human rights and environmental concerns. The motion also seeks to exert pressure on the French President Emmanuel Macron's government to arm twist Total Energies SE, the majority shareholder in the Uganda oil project, to raise the bar higher during the development of the pipeline. While the resolution is not binding on Uganda, experts on oil and gas think that this signifies a rift between Uganda and Brussels, which funds much of Uganda's development agenda. Paul Mwebaze, who heads an environmental governance organization, pro-biodiversity conservationists in Uganda, says he interacted with the EU representatives who visited before the motion in Brussels.
We met people who already had an informed decision. You cannot say you come, you're 4 people, you are running in a few minutes, you go speak to about 4 people in the Albertine Rift, the PAPs, and then you come and make such a resolution of this magnitude. For me, I think we needed to have had a very serious scrutiny of these issues before we arrive at that position.
The resolution suggested suspending construction of the East African crude oil pipeline for a year and looking for an alternative route, citing delayed compensation in host communities.
At first, Uganda had looked at using the Kenyan route, which was too costly but also not viable for the project. When you look at suspending 1 year for the launch of the project, now for us as civil society, we look at the host communities. It means they are going back as a dredge. It means resettlement cannot happen now, and also compensation cannot be completed. I think the project, the oil projects in Uganda should proceed, but we just need to concentrate on sorting the issues in that the sector is sustainably managed for the benefit of the people.
President Museveni tweeted, "If Total, who is the main shareholder in the oil and gas project, chooses to listen to the EU Parliament, we shall find someone else to work with. Either way, we shall have our oil coming out by 2025.
You see, it was, I would say, sarcastic, because he knows all these decisions are grounded in the contracts. So he knows it may not be an easy thing for Total to just pull out. If it pulled out, we would still have them on the basis of what they committed."
While Total may not pull out of the deal due to contractual obligation, some think Europe could be sending communication to its big banks when Uganda inevitably goes borrowing.
It is the president of Uganda who has been saying we cannot again donate to the West by exporting crude oil. Because for him, he had said we can't build a pipeline to export crude. We want to build a refinery to process oil from here. Again, those companies and the West, they said, no, we don't want to give you money for a refinery. They said, for us, we want to give you money for a pipeline to export crude. And the president had to accept. The government has accepted. Now, that's the reason why now, you see, there is no discussion about the refinery. The discussion is about the EACOP. So when you see the EU, who know that they have no powers to direct us, but they are speaking, they are telling their company, these companies from the West, they are telling the banks from the West that, you see, for us, we don't want ABCD. And for you, the government of Uganda, if you are going to convince those companies to be here, convince the banks from the West to give you money, I tell you, you will have to lower each and every expectation that you have.
Dickens Kamujisha, the Chief Executive Officer of Africa Institute for Energy Governance, AFIEGO, refers to other countries thinking the same oil politics may befall Uganda.
That's what has been happening in the entire Africa where they are producing oil. Because the projects are huge. The Africa, whether it is the African Union or whether it is the East African community, they have no capacity to raise money on their own.
Experts recommend dialogue between the parties to deal with the issues to avoid direct or indirect consequences. Edward Muhumza, NTV.